We now turn to a hadith in Sahih Bukhari. In which Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, and it is a very short hadith, you can memorize it before you leave the masjid tonight. Kayfa antum? How will you be at that time? Oh, what a wonderful time that would be. إِذَا نَزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ Maryam, when the son of Mary will descend amongst you. Oh, so he's not descending in Rome. Oh no. When the son of Mary descends amongst you, whether they like it or whether they don't, when Jesus comes back, he's coming to us. He's descending amongst Muslims. كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم مريم وإمامكم منكم? And at that time, your Imam would be from within your own ranks. He would be a Muslim. And so there is an Imam in the end time. And the advent of that Imam, I'm going to use another big word now. First one was eschatology. The advent of that Imam will be contemporaneous. Long word, huh? Contemporaneous, meaning at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. The advent of that Imam would be at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. But he would have to come before. And then after he has come, then Nabi Isa alayhi salam will come. Who is that Imam who will emerge in the end time? And who is an Imam? And what will be the implications of the emergence of an Imam at that time? These are fascinating questions. We have to simply leave Sahih Bukhari and go to Sahih Muslim, and we get the answer that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied that that Imam would be known as Imam Mahdi, the rightly guided Imam. And we also are told that he is going to be from the seed of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, from his daughter Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So he's going to be an Arab. I don't think he can be an Indonesian. Huh? Or Malaysian. He has to be an Arab, eh? Okay. This Imam who will emerge at the time when Nabi Isa alayhi salam is to return is not only from the seed of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, but we also have a description of his physical features, a broad forehead and a large nose and so on. And we also know something about his functions. That at that time the world will be filled with oppression. Well, it has already come. Modern Western civilization has now been hijacked to deliver to the world more oppression than mankind has ever witnessed. And yet there are those who have eyes and yet cannot see. And their Qibla is in Washington. and they long to get a green card and a US passport. So I say, please go and don't come back. Please go and don't come back. You don't belong to us. You belong to the Jamaat of the oppressors. At that time there will be oppression in the world, all over the world. And this man, will break those chains of oppression and bring justice to the world. So this is going to be a revolution, a revolutionary change to transform a world filled with oppression to a world of justice and of peace. And then the world would experience what Islam has to offer. This would be an Imam who would come at a time of great poverty and destitution in the world. Well, it has already come. All those who stand up to Dajjal are today miserably poor. And all those who are faithfully following Dajjal are living in the comfort zone. That's what the Prophet prophesied. But when the Imam comes, he's going to share wealth to the people. Would it be US dollars? The last thing I heard about the US dollar was that it was in ICU in some hospital. Would it be the French francs or the Malaysian ringgit? Come on, wake up and stop this nonsense. Stop this nonsense. If you did not know it before, maybe tonight you should start to learn. That knowledge may enter into your head. The money that we are now using has come from Dajjal. If you've not studied international monetary economics, come to me and I'll teach it to you. The money that we are now using has come from Dajjal. The paper currencies have come from Dajjal. The electronic money which is taking over from the paper currencies have come from Dajjal. And they're functioning as an instrument, not only for the unjust transfer of wealth from the unsuspecting masses to a global predatory elite, but more than that. They're bringing a system of slavery upon the world, enslaving mankind. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied that in the end time there will be slavery. He said a slave woman, you remember? Don't you? He said a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. We have a conference in PWTC on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you can take 2 days off, leave, come join us. There's a flyer outside about the conference. It is on the prohibition of riba in Islam. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam told us that Imam is going to share wealth. Which kind of money? Oh, you know it. I don't have to tell you. It's the money which is in the Qur'an. When last did you open the Qur'an and look in the Qur'an to see whether there's money in the Qur'an? Huh? Is the dinar in the Qur'an? Yes, it is. Is the dirham in the Qur'an? Yes, it is. That's bad news for some of you who have neglected the Qur'an. And so he's going to share dinar and dirham, money that Allah ordained to be used as money. And if we had been using that money, Indonesia would not be miserably poor today. And Egypt would not be miserably poor today. And Bangladesh and Pakistan and Afghanistan would not be miserably poor today. And Africa would not be miserably poor today. He will share that money to such an extent that no one would be willing to accept zakat. What a world that is going to be tomorrow. This Imam is called Imam, but the word Imam here is synonymous with Amir or leader. So he is not only Imamul Mahdi, he is Amirul Mu'mineen, the leader of the believers. So would he be the head of the Egyptian Muslims alone? And you have another one for the Malay? Another one for the Indonesians? Huh? Or is he going to be the leader of all Muslims? Come on, answer me today. Answer me today. You know, he prophesied about the end time, that knowledge will disappear. Knowledge will disappear. And here's the evidence. That when that Imam comes, he is going to be Amirul Mu'mineen. So then what are you going to do with your Egyptian citizenship and your Egyptian passport? I don't want to go further than that. What are you going to do with your constitution of Egypt and your Syrian constitution, your pledge of loyalty to the state? Huh? What are you going to do? I know what we are going to do. We never gave up in our heart. We never gave up in our hearts loyalty to the Imam and to the Amir. No, we never gave it up, because we never accepted the substitute. And we will never accept the substitute. He's also known not only as Imam, not only as Amirul Mu'mineen, but also as Khalifa. Khalifa. And this brings us to our difference of opinion with the Shia. We hold the view that the Shia are Muslims. Oh yes. And we gave evidence to support that. There is no fatwa which has achieved ijma'a. No. Because the Shia have performed the Hajj continuously to this day. No one has stopped them. And so the ijma' of the Ummah is that the Shia are Muslims. And if they are Muslims, then you have to relate to them as brothers. Ruhama'u baynahum. And if you differ with them, you must differ in a way which is constructive and not destructive. We say that the first Amir, the first Imam, the first Khalifa was Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And then after him was Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And after him was Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And after him was Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And we have said, and we have not spoken with hostility and bitterness and enmity. We have spoken with sadness in our hearts. That if you declare of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he was a usurper who stole somebody else's position, we say that you are misguided. If you're annoyed with us, what can we do? But facts are facts. And we say that if you say that Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also a usurper, we say that's double misguidance. And if you compound that by saying that Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also misguided, we say, come on, it's time to wake up from your sleep. And we're not speaking these words with bitterness. and with anger and with hostility. We're speaking these words with sadness. And it's because we call them the khulafa that we say that the Imam who is to come will also be Khalifa. What is the implication now of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending to us a Khalifa and saying to him that he will be from within your own ranks? كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم مريم وإمامكم منكم, and your Imam will now be from within your own ranks. Very clearly to me, this hadith is anticipating a time will come when we will no longer have khilafah. No. That we will be ruled by those who are not Muslims. There is no authentic Islamic rule anywhere in the world today, because those who rule us are not Muslims. Where's the evidence? When last did you take up the Charter of the United Nations Organization? And if you are in Iran and you listen to this lecture, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Take up the Charter of the United Nations Organization and open it and read, I believe it is 24 and 25, where the Charter of the United Nations says, in effect, that in all matters pertaining to international peace and security, Allah is not Al-Akbar. No. The Security Council of the United Nations is Al-Akbar, meaning there is no authority above it. That is shirk. And so once you are a member of the United Nations Organization, your Amir al-Mu'mineen, your Khalifa, your leader, your ruler, ultimate ruler is the Security Council of the United Nations. And so you can call yourself an Islamic Republic, like Pakistan used to do before it became an American Republic. And I don't say this to ridicule the Pakistani people, because I studied in Pakistan, and my heart beats with the people of Pakistan who are imprisoned in Pakistan because they don't have the freedom to choose their own leader. Their leader is chosen in Washington by the Zionists. And so, a time is going to come when we will be ruled by those who are not from within our own ranks. So you had Amir al-Mu'mineen George Bush. But that's not going to last forever. No. When Imam Mahdi comes, that's goodbye to the substitute that they gave us for the Khilafah. Dajjal gave us the modern secular state. And the modern secular state has replaced the Khilafah. And all of mankind, illa masha'Allah, have pledged their allegiance to the modern secular state, loyal to the modern secular state and to its constitution. And as a consequence have said goodbye to Allah and to the Khilafah. But you and I have not done that. In our hearts we are faithful to Allah and to His Messenger. And in our hearts we are faithful to Islam's model of a political state, the Khilafah. And in our hearts we long for that day when the Imam will emerge and the Khilafah will be restored. Is it possible for the Khilafah to be restored? before the Imam emerges. There is a hadith in Sahih Muslim that a Khalifa will die and there will be disagreement concerning succession. I think you already guessed who it's going to be. There will be disagreement concerning succession. And then a man will emerge out of Medina. Remember Medina, not Jakarta, Medina. And he will hurry to Mecca. And the people of Mecca will come out to him and urge him and try to force him to accept the bay'ah. No, we have problem here. We haven't heard this word for years and years and years and years. The word bay'ah has been put in something called the cold storage. So we got to go to the cold storage now and pull it out. What is this bay'ah? It is the pledge of allegiance which legitimizes the rule of the Khalifa. That is bay'ah, and it is an institution that is located in the Qur'an and in the Sunnah of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. When he accepts the bay'ah, at that time he will confirm and proclaim himself to be Imam Mahdi. Now then, I made this comment, and I did not make this comment in any disrespectful way. No, I was merely speaking facts. And if Imran is not allowed to speak facts, what should he talk about? I said that Mecca has never been a Shia city. Is that true or is that false? Tell me. I never said that there are no Shia in Saudi Arabia. Now you come to hit me with a left uppercut for something I never said. Please have some respect for your own intellect and don't quote people wrongly. What I said is that Mecca has never been a Shia city. Is that true or is that false? There is nothing to suggest to us that that situation will change in the future, and that Mecca will transform itself and become a Shia city. There is no evidence to support that. And therefore we ask, how can a people of Mecca who are not Shia, how can they go out and pledge allegiance to a Shia? If you have an answer, I'd be happy to get the answer. You can send me an email. And I am not wearing any boxing gloves. No, this is not the age for that. This is a reasoned discourse that is being presented tonight. And so I conclude that the Imam cannot be Shia. This is my conclusion. If you differ with me, that does not mean that we should have boxing gloves fighting each other. No. Now then, the argument is raised that because the Prophet ﷺ used the word Khalifa, a Khalifa will die. The implication is that the Khilafah will be restored before the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. But have you forgotten that hadith with which we began? كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم وإمامكم منكم Why should the Prophet ﷺ say to us that this Imam will be from your own ranks when we already have the Khilafah? It has already been restored, and our Imams are already from our own ranks. Why should he say that? My understanding is that the Hadith is clear that prior to the advent of Imam al-Mahdi, it is not possible to restore the Khilafah. No. And therefore, when the word Khalifa is used, a Khalifa will die. The Prophet ﷺ is referring to a Muslim ruler. Who could it be? Oh, the answer is clear. It has to be a Saudi king. Because there are 5,000 princes out there waiting, struggling, fighting to take over. And there's already sufficient evidence of internal conflicts and rivalries within the big Saudi clan. So, a Saudi king will die. It can't be Fahad because he's already dead. Would it be Abdullah? I don't think so. And I'll let you know why in a moment. When that Saudi king dies and there is disagreement concerning succession, it is at that time that Allah will send the Imam. Is the Imam born already? This is not arrogance on my part. No. When I say, I don't know and I don't want to know. So please don't send me emails asking me whether the Imam has been born already. What is important is that Allah places a cover and Allah conceals him. And no one knows that he is the Imam until that moment arrives. When the king, the Khalifa dies, and there is disagreement and so on, then he proclaims himself to be the Imam. Until that moment, we don't know who is the Imam. So is he born already? No, come on. I don't know and I don't want to know.